Hello, welcome friends to another video of data analysis using Python. So today we'll be discussing about Python, Pandas read write like libraries, how to read and write, like how to read certain files and how to write into certain files. Like as you can see, we'll be discussing about like comma separated file, like we call it as CSV. We'll see how to read and read that file, and also how to write to dump to that file. Like another file is like tab separated txt file, tab separated or any kind of separator that you can call it by using regular expression. You can process that file. And yeah, Excel sheet also another is there, like Microsoft Excel, similar to CSV file with some other separate tabs or called sheets. HTML file also like the hypertext language, that is all the web front end that is written on that HTML. Will see how to read a table out of the HTML that would read to the data dump by pandas data frame, and you can process that, and you can also create a HTML file out of the whatever the data you have. Similarly, you will be seeing how to read XML. I think it's not related to mostly pandas, so you'll just see a simple snapshot. And very interesting is that JSON file nowadays. JSON is the communication that has replaced XML in the the REST API or other API, the way of transmitting the data. Like earlier it was called AJAX, like asynchronous XML and JavaScript. So here XML has been replaced with JSON because it's faster and easy to maintain and all. And finally we'll discuss about Python Pickle. Like Python Pickle, what is called whatever the data in the Python, like the data structure or object, you can just preserve it, like in terms of serializing it, so that dump it to a file and come back after some time, and you can decode it, deserialize it, and use that structure from that state. It's like we have a lot of foods, like certain foods that you want to you are not willing to eat it right now, you want to preserve it so that you can eat it later. That is called pickling and depickling. Okay, so let's go to the hands-on. So I have created Python notebooks for reading and writing. So here, as discussed in the previous videos, so we need to import these two. One is for NumPy, the numbers, and another is the Pandas PD. So mostly we'll be using Pandas libraries. So okay, before going to read CSV or TXT file, let's have a look of this vehicle data CSV. So vehicle data CSV is uploaded to this directory where my script is there. So this is okay, this is the data. I will click here, I will go to view. It has downloaded here for me. Okay, it is downloading in Excel. Yeah, so as you can see, this is the structure of my CSV file, like name, gender, age, city, vehicle or country, and these are the fields. This is simple fields. I will just close it. I won't save it, or if I can also directly click it so that it will show me in the browser. Here this is comma separated. As you can see, the delimiter is the comma. So okay, then back to here. So yes, very simple. As for reading this CSV file, what you can do, you can just use the panda pd object and the read CSV file method and pass the CSV file. Once you do that, that will give you the data frame. So this data frame name is, I have preserved it as CSV df. Let's see. Okay, I forgot to run initialize it. I have loaded the libraries. Now it should come. Yeah, whatever the CSV file you have seen, now it is showing in tabular form. This is the data frame. This is our index, this is our column, and these are the records. Pretty simple. So let's suppose if you don't want to read the header, like this line, if you just want to dump it, you can dump it by without any header. here the header is not there. Instead it has given the column index. This is the row index. It has given dynamically the default column index is as 0 to 5. So if you would like to have replace the columns that you don't like, whatever in the CSV file, you want to replace that with some your name like column 0 or something, that you can also do. This is your names and you can give your column names like this. If you run it, as you can see, the column names has been replaced with the respective names that you are intend to do that you have passed. Okay, now let's suppose you want to do a structure. Like as you can see, this is my country. I want to find, like, okay, this is my city and this is my vehicle name. What you can do, you can index the column. Like current index is currently by default the row index. You can just index with these two. What you can do, you can just add index column, any two number of columns that you can select in any array, so that it will give you the index. Like first index is city, the second index is vehicle, and based upon that it has given you other columns. Okay, that is like you can group together two indexes and make some unique rows or some grouping or some statistical information that you can do by help of this indexing. Okay, let's suppose this is your CSV file. If you want to get some portion of that CSV file, and how to do that, let's suppose you want to skip two lines, like the third line and the fifth line. That means the index I will subtract 1 because it's starting from 0, and number of rows you want the first 6 rows. Okay, I'll just try to run it. As you can see, okay, before that I want to visualize this here. This is Hariharan, this is Sambit, but in between I try to ignore Binu and Sambit. Let's see whether Binu or Sambit is there or not. Okay, Binu is not there. And 2 and 4th in the sense, let me see what is the 4th. Okay, 4th is Sharma. This is the index that I wanted to ignore. Sharma is there. Okay, I want to print it here again. I'm just doing to and fro. What was that? Okay, let me add it. CSV df. I want to print it here. Now it's clear. So these are my Hariharan, Binu, Salini, Uttam, and Sharma, Sambit, and Arnab. So by doing this, I have ignored the second one, like Binu, and then 4 is, what is 4? Here is Uttam. Yes, Uttam is not there. 2 is, Binu is not there. 2 in the sense this is 1 and this is the second record, because we are starting from 0, or it is calculating this header. You may assume it like that way. Okay, this is the skip rows. This is, you are choosing any particular rows. Let's suppose you want to choose the first 2 rows. You can do it by this skip rows. Instead of giving any index numbers in array, you can just give 2 means the first 2 row it will try to ignore. Here it is starting from Salini. Here is starting from here, because I have configured it to ignore the first 2 records, so it has done that. So simple, you can just by with the help of skip rows and number of rows that you want to see, you can do it by this way. Okay, this is part of reading CSV file. So similarly, if you want to read any txt file or simple log file, so let's see the structure first, like the txt sample log. How does it look like? Txt sample log, if I click, okay, it looks like this. So first 2 lines are my comment line, because it's starting with hash, and this is the header line, and this is another some information, like from this date, counting the number of arguments, something like that. And after that, whatever the records that were separated by comma or some other delimiter, I can do it by tab also. like that. So here it is separated by comma, and this is another line. Another line in the sense, this is 1 2 3 4th, this is the 8th line. Like you can remember, third line is the header, fourth line and 8th line we want to ignore that. So how to do that? Okay, simple. There is another method called pd.read table. So it will read all your information to the data frame. Let's load and read it. As you can see, it is loaded with all the indexes, sample.log. This is the another hash. This is the header, and this is these two line we would like to ignore it. So we will be in the next line. We'll see how to ignore that. Here you can see we'll be ignoring 0th line. Then the first line, this is our header. We don't want to do that. No, sorry, this is the sample dot line. This is 0 index, this is the 1, and 3 is this one, 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. This line also we want to ignore. So here, that's why I have given skip rows this in the index list, and the separator is comma. You can, if it would have been like tab separated or space separated, then here you can replace that with that delimiter. So by doing this, we can get the information in tabular form in the data frame. Like here it has taken the column names like white, this one has column name first row, and the rest of the thing are the information other than that. Okay, and this is the way that you can also use another separator like space, digit, or white space, or that kind of tab character. You can just use help of Python regular expression. You can give the engine as Python, like that way. Okay, now this is like we have covered how to read the file in a CSV file as well as the TXT file. Now we'll be seeing how to dump the information to CSV file. So for dumping it, let's create another sample, take 6 sample, random 6 sample from the original CSV, and we'll see that how does it look like. Yeah, random 6 records. We would like to dump this 6 information like from the Pandas data frame directly to the CSV file. So by how to do that? This is our Panda data frame to CSV, and this is the file name. If you do this, what it will do, I'll comment it out. I will try to run it. We'll see it will dump all the information from here. We'll see what was the line CSV out file. It is just generated recently, seconds ago. So we'll just click it. How does it look like? Yeah, this is the random number 6 records, and this is the header. In this file, you can notice it is dumping the index column index as well as the header. If you don't like to dump it, then you can ignore it by this way. Like this is my name. I have given it as for simple understanding purposes. Like I don't want to dump with header or index, so you can do index as false, header also. What is the header? That is as false. So if you run it, it would create something like here. This file is being recently created. We'll select and see. Here there is the first line, the header is not there, as well as the column that is not there. This is the pure data that we have dumped it here. Okay, there is okay, this is pretty simple. By use of this tool CSV, you can dump the whole data structure into your CSV file. Okay, now we'll go to see how to read an HTML file. HTML file, how does it look like? HTML, like you should have something like HTML, starting with HTML tag, end with HTML. It should have a header, head and title, and inside the body you can write the dump HTML. This whatever the data frame you have, if you write to HTML, it will create a table for you, HTML table. So that HTML table, if you write inside the body, it will become a complete HTML file. So we'll see only the table first. How does it look like in HTML format? If you do that, here the starting with table, this is the header and this is the row, These are the headings, like column headings, and this is the body of the table starts. This is the first row. First row, these are the column values. Column value is TD, like that way. So that way it has created. So the same information, the table, or that is the HTML table, we are dumping it in between the body here. So by doing that, what you can, how to do that? So there is nothing like toHTML. toHTML is dumping in the HTML table, but it is not dumping to the HTML file. So in order to dump that complete HTML format to the HTML file, we have created the HTML string by appending it. Like this is the HTML starting strings and the end strings. In between we have squeezed in our HTML table. And now by this line we have the HTML complete HTML string. So let's create let's try to dump it to the HTML file. So by doing that, this is like a normal Python file handler. You can just open the file handler in the write mode. This is your handler. You can do write. This is your string. Once you write it, you can just close it. Close your handler. Now this is, because you have opened it here, you need to better to close it. So by this line of code, you can dump it to the complete HTML file. Okay, we'll go here. Now we should have a HTML output file. Let's see, HTML output file has been created right now. If I click it here, you can see the HTML. This is our column. This is our column names. This is our row numbers, and these are the data in HTML table format. So if you see the inspect element or view base source, you can see the starting element that we have added. No, I think we are trying to see the elements of pandas HTML format, and this is the HTML file that we have created. So this is panda is processing it and showing it. We cannot see the view directly like that way. Okay, let's come to back to the topic. So here we have learn how to write to the HTML file. So now we'll see, we have dumped the file here. Now we try to read the same file. So what we can do, I will try to read the same file and see. This is another HTML df. I'm sure I'm not using the original one. Yes, I'm not using. This is the new df. How to read it? Read HTML. This is the file. It will try to get this portion that I have highlighted, only the table into the data frame. It won't try to read the starting and the end lines. Okay, by doing that, see HTML. So if the file has the file, let's suppose the file has multiple tables, it will try to get in number of arrays. Like here you can see the index. This is one table. Okay, let's try that. Let's see whether I have a file. Okay, HTML read. I have two tables. This is one table, this is another table. I will try to read HTML table so that you can HTML table read. If I try to load that, see, it is giving me two such data frames. So any data frame, if you want to use, let's suppose the second table, you can give it by the index HTML index 1, so that it will read the second HTML table. See, it has given me the data frame format. Okay, that's pretty good. Now we have learned CSV file and HTML file. Now we'll try to see how to read an Excel file. So here simple as that, PD, then read Excel, and this is the Excel file. So okay, we'll try to see how the Excel file looks like. Excel file should be here. This is the XML file. Okay, I cannot read it in this browser. What I can do, I can view it this way. This will download it for me, and once I try to open it, that will open in Microsoft Excel. Okay, let's have a look. How does it look like? Yes. So as you can see, it has a car, whatever there in our CSV file, I have dumped it in the cars tab, and in the bikes also we have some information like in bikes tab. Okay, I'll minimize it. I'll go to the code. Okay, by doing that it will try to read what? Car df. As you can see, it is dumping me car, but it is not giving me the bikes because I wanted to read the bikes also, but it is not giving. It is not reading the by default the first tab. So if you want to choose any specific tab, you can do by giving the tab sheet name this way, or you can give the name itself like bikes. I want to read the bikes tab, or you can give the sheet index like 1. 0 means the first one. So by doing that, let's try that. It is giving me bikes, Harley, BMW, KTM, Bajaj. Okay, that's pretty good. Now that means I am reading the bikes tab. This also should give me the same because I'm using it by. Okay, let's dump that to our screen. Yes, this is also bike. That means I can read it with the help of names as well as index. Okay, now we have the data frame, but if you want to dump it to the Excel file, how to do that? Simply, this is the file. If you want to dump it to Excel file, this should give me the sheet name as new cards. This is our output file name. Let's try to dump it. As you can mark, this is to Excel, similar to CSV file or to HTML. So we should have XLS output file generated here. XLS output file should be here. XLS output file, yes, it is generated seconds ago. Okay, let's try to view it. I'm trying to view it. It is opening for me. 1 second, hold on. Come on, hurry up. Yes, it is dumped. It has dumped all the information in my data frame into this new cars. You can mark the new cars is the new sheet name that I have given it in the code. Okay. Now let's try to dump it bike. But question is, I am giving another command. There is no way to merge it, because if you do it this way, it will try to create a new file with new sheet name. That means it will try to override the file. If you do that, if I uncomment it, if you try to run it, it will try to dump the same in bikes information, like this has been overridden recently. Okay, I'm sorry, I want to view it. This is the 5th file, recent file. Let's see. Yeah, no, this is the 4th file. I have opened 5th. It's still opening. Yes, as you can see, the sheet name has been replaced with new bikes. So there is a problem. How to do that? Let's suppose if I want to have both the tabs, just like here in my original source file. How to do that? You can do it by another way. There is no such direct way. We can do it like open the Pandas Excel writer, give you a file name as give some alias, use that alias and pass it here. This is your data frame to Excel, this is your data frame to Excel, and use only the same object like the file handler here and give the sheet name as it is. So once you do that, it will just try to run it like output all. I have given a separate name. We will go there, here we'll try to visualize this all and see it should have both the tabs. Okay, hold on, 1 2 3, come on. Yes, new cars and new bikes, both the tabs that I wanted. It is in the single Excel file. There you go, pretty easy. Okay, now XML is, there is no such direct pandas utilities, so you can just use any of the Python ready to like readily available XML parsers like XML mini DOM or E3 or Objectify, like that. You can just read it. This is nothing related to what is called pandas. Okay, let's try to have a look of XML book. XML, how does, okay, this is my book. Okay, I should not open it this way. I should open it view, not view, directly click it. Oh shit, how to open it? I'm sorry, I'm lost. Edit. Okay, there is another way. Okay, if you try to edit it, it will show in the XML format. This is your root. Root is called catalog. This is the book. This is one child. This is another child. Node. This is called node, child node, and this is the node name, and this is the attribute name. This is another root level. Root of root means child of another child. This is author, title. These are the node, and this is the node value that you can say. So let's suppose if you want to get this one author name as me, and this is the book ID. How to do that? You can do it by here. First you need to use objectify.parse. This is the XML object that will get. Then to get the root, the same object get root, it will give the root. Once you get the root, then go to the book and then author. Or if you want to get the children, get children, like that. Book and author, let's try to print it. Book is giving, like book author is this way. So how does it look like? Let's close that. Give it okay, not this way. Where okay, this is my root dot book dot author. It is giving me this one. Yeah, so this is not part of Pandas, so we'll just skip it. You can Google it. Okay, now come to JSON. So how does this JSON look like? JSON.bikes. JSON is nothing but JavaScript object notation. So let's try to dump our just create an JSON file first, then try to read it, because whatever the bike data frame we have, try to dump it to JSON file. We'll try to run it and see. We should have the JSON bikes. I will sort it by last modified. JSON file should be here. If you click it, it is showing us in this way. Yeah, this is the JSON file format. This is name 0. This is the index of 0, Binay 1, name 1, 2, name 2, like that. This is giving me, this is 1, this is gender, and this is one dictionary. Age is another dictionary. The key value pair, this is key, and this is value is also another dictionary, and inside the dictionary we have also key value pair. It's that way. Okay, now we'll go to how to read it. Now we have the file. We need to read that file in a new data frame. How to do that? Pandas.read JSON. This is the file name. Once you do that, it will get your information in the same data frame that you have done that way. And in other than, if you don't want to use pandas, you can also use open like pandas other JSON import JSON utility. Open the file, read it, read the line by line, or you can do other stuff like that. Okay, now we have learned JSON, and Pickle is also another form of serialization. Like once you in the Python, you have the Python dictionary. If you want to store it in a file and reuse it after certain time, like how is it used? Let's suppose you have a server and server is getting down, and you want to recover the server from that state where it got stopped, like whatever the data structure or the state machine or the memory, that like the data what is called the state of the data has to be recovered from that state. So what, every second if you try to dump your information to Pickle, and you can retrieve your Pickle back from that state instead of recreating or running from the scratch. Okay, okay, let's come to here. To do Pickle, you can just do import Pickle, and let's suppose try with this data dictionary. Like this is the dictionary, this is the key, and these are the value is here. So for dumping it, this is your Pickle data. Pickle just dumps the data. This is your Pickle data. Now we'll see, try to see once you do that, we'll try to see how does it look like. We'll try to run it here. The first one is the type is pickle data, that is our class. Type is bytes, like a serialized form. If you want to print it, now it is coded in a serialized, you cannot even understand it. So now it is in concise, because that reduces some of the space, like, and you can decode it by doing how to do that. Pickle.load this pickle data. If you do it, it will deserialize and read the pickle back to your original data structure. Like this is the date. Okay, try to run it now. Here, this is a dictionary. We have got our dictionary back. If you try to print it, you will get the dictionary as it is. And if you want to dump that to a file, you can do it by help of data pandas data frame to pickle. Dump it to the file name. If you try to do it, it will try to dump it to the file. We'll see the file is like that. You cannot visualize the file because it is encoded. Similarly, if you want to read the pickle back from that pickle file, you can do it by panda.read pickle this to this data frame, run it. There you go. That you have learned how to get your data back out of the pickle. Thanks for watching. Okay, I forgot to mention that you can also dump your data to database and retrieve your data back from that, like use the help of pandas utilities. So I don't have other databases like MongoDB or MySQL or Postgres in my machine because of some security constraints. So but I can show you some information like SQLIte database. So for that you can use this one, so that it will create the connection engine. Create engine. Once you do that, like this is the URL that you can dump your data. You can also pass the username or password here. So okay, let's stick to that. So our database name is my colors. This is our data. Let's try to run it. Okay, there you go. This is our data. Randomly I have created from 20 numbers with reshape into two-dimensional matrix or two-dimensional array or matrix, you can call it. So once you use this create engine, okay, let's try to see what does that engine is it an yeah, this is the MySQL engine, sorry, SQLite engine of this object. So with the help of that, you can dump your data frame to SQL. This is our data frame, this data frame. If you like to dump it to this SQLite, you can do it by running it here. Colors already exist. Okay, let's give it another table name, because colors, new colors. Okay, there you go. So if you want to read that data that you have dumped in this table, you can do it by this way, read SQL. Okay, there you go. That means to SQL and read SQL. Okay, if you want to test the query, you can do it by, this is not part of pandas, you can do it by import SQLite. This is your query, create a table, SQLite connect, that will store in memory. This is the connection, execute the query and commit it. And then once you have the data, then you can just create a statement, insert into with the values. It will just dump each line, execute many, each line by line in a single statement. And commit it, it will try to commit the data. Okay, let's try that also. Okay, there you go. I have got the data. This is our long string. We'll try to connect it. This connection successfully. This is our data. We have committed the data to it. Let's select it. Once you have committed this many number of data, we will use it by the select query. Fetch all the data and into our rows. Okay, we'll load it. Yes, we've got all the rows that we have inserted here out of the SQLite database. And this is our row. You can convert that to pandas data frame. Here the indexes, default index are 0 to 1 or default column row index are 0 to 1. Okay, thanks for watching. And okay, I have uploaded the data for the reference, like if you're ready to use all this information. And this is at the Python script, and this is the directly what is called the Jupyter notebook setup is there in the GitHubs. You can directly use it if you want. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for upcoming videos. Thank you.